In a quiet little village surrounded by rolling green hills, there stood a giant clock in the town square. It was so tall that children had to crane their necks to see the hands. The clock had been there for as long as anyone could remember, ticking and talking faithfully every single day. But one crisp morning, Theo, a curious little boy, noticed something strange. "Mom, why isn't the clock ticking today?" he asked, staring up at the still hands. His mother glanced at the clock. "Oh, maybe it's just getting old, Theo. I'm sure the grown-ups will fix it soon." But Theo wasn't so sure. He kept staring at the clock. The long hand had frozen at 12, as if waiting for something or someone. That night, as the stars twinkled above, Theo's cat, Kin, a sleek black cat with golden eyes and, quite unusually, the ability to speak, jumped onto his bed. "If I'm not mistaken," Kin said, his tail flicking nervously, "the heart of the clock might be weakening." "The heart of the clock?" Theo's eyes widened. Yes, every clock has a heart. If it stops beating, time itself begins to slow. Theo sat up straighter. "Then we have to help it. Tomorrow we'll climb the clock and see what's wrong." Kin sighed, but deep down he was just as curious as Theo. The next morning, Theo packed his small backpack with a loaf of bread, a flashlight, and a long rope. Behind the giant clock, he found a rusty little door that no one else seemed to notice. With Kin padding softly beside him, they slipped inside. A spiral staircase stretched upward, creaking with every step. As they climbed, faint whispers floated through the air. "Help me! Help me keep ticking!" "Who's there?" Theo called nervously. "Perhaps it's the heart," Kin whispered, his fur standing on end. The further they climbed, the quieter it became. The gears, once lively and whirring, now stood motionless or moved ever so slowly, like they were too tired to keep going. At last, they reached a small chamber just beneath the clock face. There, huddled beside a motionless gear, was a tiny creature made of cogs and springs. Its eyes glowed faintly blue. Who are you?" asked Theo gently. "I'm Gear, caretaker of the clock's heart," the little creature said with a trembling voice. "But the heart has grown weak, and I'm too small to fix it alone." Theo crouched down and offered his hand. "We're here now. Let's fix it together." Gear looked up, hope flickering in its mechanical eyes. Gear led Theo and Ken deeper into the clock's core. There, glowing faintly like a dying ember, was a crystal orb, the heart of time. Its light pulsed weakly, like it was struggling to stay alive. "We need to warm the heart again," Deer whispered. Theo swallowed hard. "How?" "With kindness, with memories of joy," Gear replied softly. Working together, Theo pulled the heavy levers, Kin used his tail to nudge smaller gears back into place, and Gear leapt nimbly from cog to cog, unlocking stuck mechanisms. At last, Theo placed his hands on the crystal orb. He closed his eyes and thought of laughter in the village square, the smell of fresh bread from his mother's kitchen, and the warmth of summer days spent playing with friends. Slowly, he felt a gentle warmth flow from his heart into the crystal. The light inside began to grow stronger, and then, thump, thump, thump,
the heart began to beat again. The gears around them roared back to life with a creak and clink, and then came the familiar sound. Tick-tock, tick-tock. As Theo and Ken climbed back down, the entire village was gathered outside watching the clock hands move once more. "Who fixed it?" the villagers whispered in awe. Theo smiled, but said nothing. High above, he could just make out Gear peeking out from behind a gear, waving a tiny metallic hand. "See," Ken murmured, rubbing against Theo's leg. "Sometimes even the giant clock's heart just needs a little care." And from that day on, Theo always looked up at the giant clock with a knowing smile, because he had learned a secret. Time keeps ticking when someone cares enough to keep its heart warm.